Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and click the bell icon for more juicy content from me. Hello and welcome back. Today I'm recording from a different spot just to bring in that holiday cheer. And speaking of the holidays, in the US we just celebrated Thanksgiving. Christmas is coming, New Year is coming, Kwanzaa. There's so many holidays coming. I can't mention them all. But around this time, people tend to get stressed. And before I go into what I'm about to say, I'd like to invite you on the 16th of December at 10 a.m. Central, from the comfort of your own home. Just roll over in bed and click on that Zoom link to a 1-hour masterclass titled End Holiday Stress Once and for All. And it's going to be great. It's going to be a group of people. We're going to have honest conversations about ending holiday stress. I'm going to be sharing some insights, and I'm going to be talking about how we can end holiday stress, and we're going to have a conversation about that. But today I'm going to be sharing with you six things you can do to manage family around the holidays. Why? Because guess what? One of the things that stress people out the most around holidays is family interactions. Maybe you spend the year away from certain family members, but you have a tradition of maybe gathering with them for the holidays, and sometimes tempers flare. Sometimes people are on different sides of the political or religious divide. Sometimes people have stick their noses in other people's business, and it's not wanted. So today I'm going to talk about those 6 things that you can do to manage your family interactions around the holidays. So before I go ahead though, I'm going to share a little story. So a few years back, I was with a group. I'm just going to say a group because sometimes it's not family, it's friends too, right? I was with a group, and there are certain individual, they like to stir the pot, and it doesn't really matter if you disagree with them very slightly on a certain point. They come for your head with yelling and screaming and whatnot. So I made a point, this individual made a point, and I countered that point. Again, it's also an individual who has a sort of my word is law type of demeanor, doesn't really like to be argued with. And I said, well, this is that and that, not raising my voice, just as part of the conversation, and they were not having it. They jumped up and started shouting. I just took a step back and I left the room. They were with other individuals too, and all that. But in that moment, I just chose myself. I chose not to engage. I chose to step away and go. And I think I went and poured myself a drink, and I left them and they had an audience, so they carried on. But this is just an example of how one can choose how to manage interactions with family, friends, relatives, whatever. And that brings me straight into my next point. At family gatherings or friend gatherings, you do not have to engage in discussions that make you unhappy. Somebody asks you, oh, so Susie, you're 45 and you're not married yet. I'd rather not talk about it. It's that simple. And then they can either keep on talking and show themselves to be the very not nice person that they're showing up to be, or they can back off. But either way, you still don't have to engage. I'd rather not talk about it. Now, that's easy to say, but sometimes people take it up a notch, right? Then they start to needle you. When someone starts to needle you, that's the point where you need to completely back away from the discussion. That's not the time to engage. That's the time to say, I said I don't want to talk about it, and you can keep speaking if you want, but I'm not going to talk about it. Would you like some pie? But on a more serious note, you don't have to engage in discussions that make you feel unhappy. Now, as children, when we went to visit relatives, etc., we didn't have a choice. We had to be polite, we had to be societally polite. We had to answer questions that maybe we didn't want to answer. But remember, you're an adult now. You're not a child. And even if those relatives are older than you are, somebody asking you maybe intrusive questions, personal questions, or something that you don't feel happy about talking about, you do not have to answer. So, at family gatherings or friend gatherings, you don't have to engage in discussions that make you feel unhappy. Now, at family gatherings, you don't have to eat things to make other people happy. This happens a lot. I coach for a weight loss program. People are like, oh, around the holidays, etc., etc. Sometimes people eat because of pressure. You know what you like to eat, want to eat, prefer to eat, are eating for your health. You know that if you eat ice cream, your stomach will hurt. You know that if you eat whatever sugary dessert it is, you pay for it later in terms of your health. You can't sleep, you get headaches, etc., etc. You don't have to eat things to make people happy, And if you go somewhere and people serve a spread, you will probably find something that you like, partake of those, and then enjoy the rest of the time without having to feel like, oh, I'm going to eat this, even though I don't feel happy about eating it. But if I don't eat, somebody's pecan pie, they're going to feel bad, etc., etc. If you want to eat pecan pie, eat it because of yourself, not because, oh, if I don't eat it, somebody will feel bad. Everyone is entitled to their feelings. Everyone who cooks anything will understand that some people will eat it and some people won't. I cook things and sometimes people eat them and sometimes people don't. And I don't make it about me or about them. It's like, oh, they don't want it. Okay? So you don't have to eat things to make other people happy. Number 3, you don't have to spend your holidays with toxic relatives. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. You don't have to spend your holidays with toxic relatives. It's amazing. I see people in their 40s and 50s working themselves up into a tiz because they have to go and see XYZ person. Guess what? You don't have to. You have a choice. It's your life. And you get to decide who you spend holidays with, rather than now your holiday is just a memory of stress as opposed to being a happy memory. Now, again, when I say toxic relatives, I mean actual toxic relatives. I don't mean human beings who are imperfect and flawed and maybe a bit nosy, maybe a bit loud, maybe a bit brash, maybe, there's a whole spectrum of human imperfection. I'm talking about people who they are bullies, they are racist, they are, whatever the ists, right? And they really make you feel uncomfortable. Or maybe maybe when you were young, they, engaged in some sort of, I would say, inappropriate acts towards you, and you feel uncomfortable around them. You don't have to spend your holidays with those types of people. You get to spend your holidays with whoever you choose or by yourself, because it's better to be alone than to be in bad company. Now, number 4, draw boundaries around your spending, okay? Like the saying goes, don't, how does it go? It says, don't borrow money you don't have to buy things you don't need to impress people you don't like, right? So you don't have to splurge excessively on the holidays, both for yourself and for relatives. Do what you are able to do. I mean, this is 2023. The inflation rate all over the world is so high. If people don't get a present or get a smaller present than they had before, it's not going to kill them. They should be happy they got something. So number 5, let peace of mind be your guide. Okay, let peace of mind be your guide. And what I mean by this is, instead of doing something because this is what we've always done, this is the tradition, etc., etc., what's going to make you happy this season? Maybe you used to cook up a whole spread and everybody used to come. And now the pandemic has happened. Things have changed. Some people have died. People have moved away. Don't feel you need to do the same thing again. You can pare it down. You can cater. You can order out. You're allowed to make changes, and you're allowed to let peace of mind be your guide, as opposed to traditions that don't serve you, serve your family, or even now have become a burden for you. Last but not the least, don't overcommit this holiday season by saying yes to things that you can't handle. There's only one of you. You can only do so much. Sometimes it's events. For me, this Christmas, usually we do a number of events over Christmas, but we've had to, make some huge, financial commitments. And this year, just, it's like, okay, well, we'll just do a couple of events and visit friends and, hey, make it work. And that's what we're doing, I'm not overcommitting. I'm not overspending. I'm not spending time with people that are toxic. And, if stuff comes up in a gathering that I don't want to talk about, I just won't talk about it. And I definitely don't plan to eat anything just to please somebody else. I will eat to my satisfaction, the things that I want to eat and are good for my body, and I'll move on. So, there you have it. Before my recap, don't forget, in the show notes, there is a link to join my event on the 16th of December at 10 a.m. Central, End Holiday Stress Once and For All. If you like this video, imagine more of this in a setting with a group of people. It's going to be fun. All my webinars, my master classes, etc. are always fun and always good value. So I'm going to recap. Number one, at family gatherings, you don't have to engage in discussions that are making you unhappy. 2, you do not have to eat things to make other people happy. 3, you do not have to spend holidays with toxic relatives. 4, draw boundaries around your spending. 5, let peace of mind be your guide. And last but not the least, don't overcommit. The sky is not going to fall down if you just do what you can. So, thank you very much for listening and watching, and I'll see you next time.